This Matt Gaetz thing is wild. Matt Gaetz recently posted on Twitter, "There's no time to waste on a needlessly protracted Washington scuffle. I will be withdrawing my name from consideration to serve as Attorney General. Trump's DOJ must be in place and ready to serve on day one." Hi, folks. My name is Christopher. I am the host of the Open Minds Show here on YouTube. If you're enjoying my content, if you want more political moderation in our discourse today, hit that like button, definitely subscribe, share, tell all your friends. Folks, the more you look into this Matt Gaetz thing, the more just wild it really does get. Now, as a very high level, Gaetz was under investigation for allegedly paying a 17-year-old girl to travel with him for sex. This would constitute a violation of federal sex trafficking laws. While he denies all allegations, asserting he never paid for sex or engaged in relationships with underage individuals, Joel Greenberg, a close associate of Gaetz, pled guilty to several crimes, including sex trafficking a minor. He agreed to cooperate with investigators, providing information about Gaetz. However, his credibility was questioned due to a history of fabricating accusations against a political rival. Both Greenberg and another key witness who traveled to the Bahamas with Gaetz were deemed unreliable. Greenberg's admitted criminal history, including producing fake IDs, stalking, and wire fraud, damaged his potential testimony's weight. The 17-year-old at the center of this was reportedly 18 or older during the Bahamas trip, but alleged prior sexual encounters with Gaetz while underage. Her reliability apparently was under doubt. Career prosecutors reportedly advised against charging Gaetz, citing insufficient evidence to overcome the credibility issues of witnesses in court. Federal prosecutors hesitated to proceed, noting that witness testimony alone might not withstand scrutiny from a jury. Now, Gaetz claims that the allegations stem from efforts to criminalize his past relationships, arguing his generosity to ex-girlfriends were being mischaracterized. He also suggested the accusations were tied to an extortion plot targeting his family, which led to a separate DOJ investigation. So, folks, this is getting indeed a bit wild, but I think there's a lot to this story. One thing that I wish more Republicans, conservatives did was kind of call out this behavior, even though, yes, there's a lot here to unpack. The ethics report has not been made available. There is no report made available to the general public on Gaetz, but we can only imagine that some of the findings might have been quite damning. Now, this is what you don't hear from some conservative outlets about Matt Gaetz, and I think this is very important. Regardless of whether or not there's merit to these accusations, there's something to be said about these accusations. It wouldn't come up for someone who has nothing to do with minors or engaging in sex trafficking with minors at all. So there's, when there's smoke, there's fire kind of thing. And I think that we as conservatives have to do a better job when it comes to calling this type of behavior out. Folks, I also wanted to just mention quickly, this isn't the only kind of odd pick in Trump's cabinet. Here's another one. Trump taps personal lawyer Will Scharf for White House staff secretary. Scharf was a member of Donald Trump's legal team in his federal election interference case and his Supreme Court immunity case. Scharf was a member and played a part in getting Trump's Supreme Court nominees Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett confirmed. He's frequently appeared on TV to defend Trump, joining the list of incoming Trump administration officials who are cable regulars. Now, folks, I know this definitely seems like it's a bit of an attack piece, a liberal attack piece on Trump, but it remains to be said that a lot of cabinet picks, not only from Trump, but others from other parties as well, they do pick loyalists. They pick people who always defend them publicly in the news, especially when they're under attack. It's loyalty, loyalty to the brand, loyalty to what they're doing. But I think there's something to be said about picking people who you openly disagree with. Now, some of these people, including Matt Gaetz, had criticized Trump before, but now seem to really love Trump because of what Trump, I think, can do for them. But there's something to be said about picking some of your rivals to make an administration great or make your administration great again. Now, I don't mean to belabor this point, but when you look back in history, You look at someone like Abraham Lincoln, and you look at the cabinet that Abraham Lincoln had, and if you haven't read Doris Kearns Goodwin's Team of Rivals, it's a wonderful book basically about how Lincoln put in place people who were his political opponents throughout his cabinet. Interestingly enough, the group included opponents who had criticized him politically, but also those who criticized him personally. I'll give you some examples. I just had it. Here we go. William H. Seward, Lincoln's Secretary of State, dismissed Lincoln as inexperienced and an inexperienced backwoods lawyer, even assumed that he'd be the one truly running government. Salmon P. Chase, the Treasury Secretary, was another sharp critic who, while serving in his cabinet, even ran against him as president. And of course, Edward Bates, Lincoln's Attorney General, viewed Lincoln as unqualified for office and inferior in intellect. Now, what's interesting here is despite all of this, not only did they disagree with his policies, they questioned his competency and his personal life. But what's interesting here is Lincoln never once called them out, to our knowledge. I remember reading somewhere that Lincoln would write letters and keep them in like a binder or a box somewhere. I would never send them. But what was interesting is Lincoln viewed their clashes not as a weakness, but that they were a strength, that Lincoln would refine his ideas, consider different perspectives, and build policies that were better battle-tested before implementation. And this was actually important as the country at the time was at civil war. Now, what does this all have to do with Trump? Well, Trump has made some interesting picks for his cabinet, including RFK and Tulsi Gabbard, which is actually interesting, and I'd be interested to see what they're able to do because both are very much anti-establishment, and now they're in prominent positions within an establishment. They are part of the government apparatus. But that said, they also are Trump loyalists. Both have espoused their love for Trump openly. And so I just wonder often if Trump took a bit of a mixed bag with his cabinet and included some voices that were critical of Trump and his policies. And sometimes you have people in place who are only there because they're loyal to you. They may not necessarily be the best person for the job. And I know Trump has said before that he's learned from 2016 and he's not going to have, people who are just yes men around him. He's going to have people who are different. But it seems to me that his cabinet may be made up of those who have eschewed their loyalty at a time when Trump was getting sued, and when a lot of people were against Trump. Now, this may come to backfire him in the next 4 years because these individuals also have their own personal interests at play and may jockey for more power in cabinet, jockey for more prestige, or may undermine the president altogether and do their own thing. You think about it, it's like RFK, Tulsi Gabbard. It'll be really hard for them to operate, I think, within a bureaucratic machinery. And I'd be really interested to see if any of their policies or statements conflict or undermine those of Donald Trump. I'll be interested to see that. But, if you did have more political rivals in your cabinet, it may refine your policy positions. I don't know if Tulsi Gabbard or RFK or previously Matt Gaetz or others who are such Trump loyalists would openly challenge Trump at cabinet meetings or in private as well. If they are in fact such loyalists, they may just, go along with what Trump says without an actual back and forth leading to better policy. But anyways, let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think about Matt Gaetz and his resignation. Also, let me know what you think about Trump's cabinet so far. Do you think do you think loyalty matters, or would you rather see a team of rivals surrounding the president? Let me know what you think in the comments section below.